Hello everyone, this is the Random Engineer. Today we're going to do some linear patterns and other stuff that may be useful for your own design experience. So I was thinking maybe it could be a good idea to do a piano keyboard for showcasing the linear patterns. So we're going to start with the keyboards, obviously, just to have something to go around with. So just gonna create the first key, which is roughly about that size. I'm gonna go and extrude it. Let's say we want it 5 mil. Let's finish this one by doing some fillets. As we said in the previous video, we can select faces, not only edges. And notice that I haven't done this one yet. Finally, I just, instead of a fillet, I want a chamfer, which will be that one. So if you see from the side, the difference between a radius and a chamfer, the fillet and the chamfer, it's that this is a radius corner and this is a angled corner. If you go chamfer and edit feature, you can say the angle you want to change. And the distance also. So that's our first key right there. Just let me count how many keys one keyword has. So I'm counting 9. So it's around 34 keywords. All right. So this is where we start with the linear pattern. So linear pattern is basically repeating or copying bodies, features, or faces along a certain line, a certain direction. So here in direction 1, you can click a line, existing line, just to say where you want it to go. So you can see this little arrow here saying where it's going to go, or you can change the direction also by clicking on this. Then we don't want a direction 2 for this one, but I'll show you what it does. I'm gonna click on another direction. This doesn't have to be perpendicular, it can also be an angle direction as long as it's one line. Let me just check if I can do, no, in this case it's only lines. So it can be a sketch or it can be a part of the of your design that's already there. So whichever line suits you, you can just click it there. So spacing and instances just tells you how many you want and what's the separation between them. So here you have 2 options. You can pattern the features or you can pattern the bodies. So I'll explain what's the difference. So for example, if I want to pattern the feature, I will pattern this feature, let's say, and I don't quite, it's 15 the separation for this, so I'm just gonna go 15. And I'll just do that so you see what I mean. And as you see, it has patterned the features. So the first feature was, if we go back by dragging this line over here, that feature was just a rectangle, right? So if we go copy the rectangle along with the same thickness of 15, it's just gonna create that. So if we keep adding features, let's say we just want to add this fillet, let's go OK. And I'm not sure if it's gonna do it. Yeah, it's not gonna do it because since all the bodies that it's creating are connected, there are no edges to fill it. So if we go 16, I'll do that. Let me just check something first. Geometry pattern there. Sure, I said it's not working. That is weird. Let's say, oh, okay, I see. Sorry, that was my bad. So since these features are separated, these are no longer copied to each other. So you would need to copy the body. For copying bodies, you can copy just the body itself. It doesn't have to be the feature. So I copied the bodies now, and you see, since the extrusion wasn't taken into account, it's not connecting all of them, and you can verify that by looking up here. So that's the difference between a feature pattern and a body pattern. So my last count, there were 30 keys here, and let's just do that, and we have our keys right there. So I'm just gonna go and see my cell phone to see how many keys they are actually in a keyboard. Just bear with me for a second. And yeah, so from what I can see, we start with 3. Oh, we start with 2, and then skip 1 and go 3, and go the same. Do the same for the rest. So we have 2 ways of doing it. I'm going to show you both of them. I'm just going to select this first feature and go sketch and create a line roughly from there to there. Yeah, you can see that. And just to have some references, I'm just gonna click 2 lines, say they are equal, and for construction, that would mean that if I drag this line here, the other line updates as well. So that's what I wanted. And construction meant that I don't want them to be taken into account while calculating the body or the shape. So I'm gonna just give it a little dimensions here. You can go do that, and maybe a little bit thicker there. So I'm just gonna go 8, and that seems about right. And these seem to be thinner. So if I go left view, just gonna say maybe 2. And I don't want to merge the results. Okay, let's see what happens if I merge it. You can see if I go a cut view, maybe from the other side. If I go cut view, you see how these bodies are connected. While if I do not merge, and I do the cut view, these bodies are now separated. Right. So let's just do those fillets again. And see why it's not letting us do the fillet. No, it is. Okay, in this case, I'm just gonna fillet everything, just because I can. Just say there you go. just say this is 0.5 radius, maybe a little bit more, 0.7 radius. No, 0.5 is good. So it looks more like a square, a rectangle instead of a, yeah, it looks good, yeah. So we go again, linear pattern, top view, direction 1, you can select from any lines here, as long as it's the direction that you want. And since this is, I want to copy the body, I'll do that. And maybe just say 30 again. And if I copy 30, you see how long it goes, so maybe 29. So this is one way of doing it. You can also vary some instances. Oh yeah, there you go. Instances to skip, that's what I wanted. So now you can see how you've got these purple circles there. You can select them, the ones that you wanna that you don't want to use. So it was 3, 2, 3, 2. There you go. There you go. There you go. And yeah, that would be all. And you've got, well, maybe one more here. We would need one more. So since we are using SolidWorks and everything is all nice, you can double click this and go 31, and it will create the one that you need. And same here, you want 30 here, and you get that, which is pretty much what we were intending to get. Bad thing about this is that if I, for some reason, wanted to change the linear pattern, let's say 50, I would need to update this one too. Where you see how you would need to again go into edit feature and skip some instances. So that's one downside of it, of using instances to skip. That only applies when you're going, well, it's really up to you, but it's a good practice to have the linear patterns only when you have models that are not going to change much. Otherwise, you can go, okay, I'm just going to delete that and do linear pattern again of bodies and say my direction is 1. So you notice how I'm using this one, and that's just because if I ever need to copy only one, to do a linear pattern of 1 for this only key, the edge will remain the same. While if I select this edge, for example, and choose to have only 4 keys, that edge will no longer exist and will give me errors on the feature here. So that's one of the things that you have to think ahead of what you're gonna do, so you don't have any troubles in the future with your design. So again, let's do that. And then in this case, instead of spacing and instances, I'm gonna go up to reference. So if I go up to reference, I can click, okay, maybe this is not the best way. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. If I go up to reference, I just want to say, I'll just tell it how many instances do I want. I'll go 49, and you see how it copies the bodies from the centroid. So if I select another reference, it will create it from that other point. So we can click on a sketch point. I'm just gonna view the sketch and click on that point, if it lets me. Maybe that point, yeah. And let me choose that point, and you see how everything shifts to that point. So yeah, just to show you what I mean. So as a reference, I selected this face. So if I change the separation between them, between this, it shouldn't be a problem because I still have that face. And you see how the instances update space automatically, because I just said just copy 49 instances between this vertex and that face. So no matter what I do for this number of instances, it's gonna space it automatically to meet that criteria. I don't know if you can see the difference from now, but I'm just gonna go back to what I did, and obviously it's just gonna update again. And now I'm gonna show you the problem. So if I say I don't want 50, I want 30 like we were before, go OK. You see how this reference is no longer there. So that's one of the things that you have to take into account. In this case, it did it, but it just kept the last position. But sometimes you'll get an error saying there's no longer a face, the referencing face. So, like I said, that's one way of doing it. This would be the second way, which would not apply to our purpose. And one last way would be I'll do the same thing, direction, spacing instances, just say 15, and I want 6 of these bodies on the other side, and say I want to skip this one. So I just did a pattern there for 6 keys without the third one, and I'll now do again another linear pattern, but I'll do a linear pattern of this feature. Let me just, there you go. So in this case, I repeated 15 times 6. That's my reference there. Click on this, I click on that, and no, maybe not. Okay, I'll click on the bodies then. So click on the number of bodies you want, and maybe I'm gonna add 15 here. Oh no, yeah, just that. And you see how it creates the same pattern. So I'm just gonna say I want a little bit more, maybe 40 or 35. There you go. And those are my keys right there. So just be mindful of what you're doing whenever you're trying to design. That's one of my advices. I'm just gonna save this so I can go back to it. So just like the last time, I'm gonna go and give it a little bit more realistic view. So I'm just gonna go plastic, medium gloss, and say I want it on the feature, and say just click on copy appearance, paste appearance on the feature. Now, and I made a mistake there. I'm just going to Control Z to go back, and then paste appearance on the feature, paste appearance of the feature, and then paste appearance on the feature. And that's what it's gonna look So finally, I'm just gonna go and use the same appearance for white and say I want that for the feature. Copy that appearance and paste it on the feature. And you can see how the fillet is not having that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say for the whole body. In this case, it copied the appearance on the feature just because I wanted, because I selected bodies. Well, sorry, features, and the feature itself copied the whole fillets. So that's looking more like a piano, now. And just gonna see what else we can do. Okay. So to finish this, I'm just gonna create a fairly easy way, basic piano that I could get from the internet. So I just went sketch. Sorry, I went extrude feature, and now I'm gonna create a center point straight slot. Go like that, and say maybe these 2 points are horizontal. This point and this line are coincident. Point and line, there you go, coincident. Say maybe a separation of 10 mil, and give it a radius, well, separation of 13. So I'm just gonna extrude that, so to give it a better shape, just go like that, fill it that, a little bit more radius there. There you go. And then just select maybe a medium gloss. Okay, let's have it green, a green keyboard. So in this case, I'm gonna just say the whole keyboard is gonna be green. So I'm gonna assign the appearance to that part. So whatever is within the part, we'll get it. And as you see, I forgot to use this to select this feature. So I'm just gonna go copy appearance, paste appearance on the feature, and maybe write plane. Okay, I'm gonna create a plane now using 2 references. So I'm gonna create a plane using that first reference, and the second reference is gonna be that face. And as you see, you can select the mid plane for both of them, and you get a mid plane, which is called in this case plane number 1. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to sketch there. Control A to go normal 2, and just want to see an actual picture of a piano. Okay, I think I've got it, and just gonna draw some lines so it looks better. So I'm gonna go halfway there. You don't need to know, you don't always need to know all the dimensions. As long as you have one reference, you can keep going and see where the shape takes you. And just go maybe halfway here and say you want that horizontal down here and back there. So I'm just gonna say these and these are, this line and this line are collinear, and maybe start giving some dimensions there. So 7, so it roughly looks how you want to keep it. And maybe this angle is too big. No, I'll say this angle. want that angle to be greater. So let's say 35. Now maybe 40. And this can be shorter. So 18. This can be shorter too. There we go. And I'll go feature. Well, since I selected the feature before sketching, if I get out of the sketch, it's gonna do that feature. Maybe I didn't. So I'm just gonna click on this extrusion and say through all. Mid-plane. Sometimes you get through all on both, but that's only for a single part, single body part. So it seems like I'm just gonna have to go mid-plane, then keep extending this. There you go. So if I go top view, it did something that I didn't want. So just gonna keep going a little bit more. So 540. And you see how it's merging the results? That's why if I go out of there, it will just try to merge to whatever is touching. So if I go select bodies here, I can select the bodies that I want it to stick to. So in this case, I just want to stick to that one. And for some reason, yeah, seems like I didn't select this one well. So I'm just gonna go body there. And maybe, yeah, I'm gonna create a new sketch on this plane. Go up here just to close those two lines. Go up here again and say these two lines have to be equal. There you go. So maybe just say 5, extrude, and say I want extrusion up to a surface, which is going to be that one, and merge to only this body, and there you go, it's closed. Yeah, I kind of like it. So just gonna click on some faces now. Maybe make the radius smaller. Let's see what it does with only one. Okay. Okay. You see how this is 3 mil and maybe that's only 1.5. So if you try to do a radius of 3 on a 1.5 line, it's just gonna delete that face, and that's why it's not letting us do it. So you have to just be careful of what you try to select with the amount of radius that you want. So I'm just gonna delete this stuff for now and select what I can select. For some reason I'm trying to select some stuff and it's just selecting other. So as you see, this is sort of happening again. You see how this radius is going to be 3, but this line is just about a little bit greater than 3. So if I select this line, that would mean I'm gonna just delete that geometry. So that's why it's it's not calculating the radius there. So if you go full preview, it will calculate as you go. So you know if you're having issues. If you go partial preview, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get the end result. So I'm just gonna do that. And finally, just select maybe that line, that line, that line, and that line, and say I want a 0.5 radius. No, still not. Okay, I'm gonna edit the previous fillet. You see if it lets me do some. Nope. Okay. And then check the same lines. Okay, let's go one here, one here, and I think I'm happy with that result. So just to end it, I'm gonna put my name here, and I'm gonna just say maybe, yeah, I'm gonna select that face, which is in an angle, so you know you can do that too. Select this face, click on there, Control 8, go a construction line, and put a text, and just write. And now it's giving me a crash. So just bear with me while I go back to what we're doing. Yeah, sometimes that happens, so that's why I try to save as much as I can. Here you go. Hopefully I get somewhat what I was doing. So it seems like I didn't save well enough. So that's another opportunity to show you maybe something else. And I'm just gonna go and do the same as I did last time. Say I want the body, copy the appearance, paste appearance, do it for the whole matrix. Same for the body, copy the appearance, save the appearance for the whole pattern, paste appearance for the whole feature, and that's that. So last time we did a piano. Just gonna save this so it doesn't happen again. And I'm gonna maybe, yeah, I think I'm gonna create a even weirder piano there. So I'm gonna create a sketch, Control 8, create a point. Just gonna create two lines so it knows. So it's, I'm sure it's in the middle. Point and point. Just gonna say they are equal, and for construction, say there that this is maybe 250. So yeah, right now I'm just gonna create an axis. So just gonna say I want normal to that plane, and there you go, point face, and on that point. So you see how it creates a line. Well, actually it's an axis. So if I go axis, I can now do a circular pattern. These axes are not only for circular patterns, but for a revolution feature and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna say I want 4 equally spaced in along the 4 lines. You go, and I might just select the bodies from here. Delete all, clear all. There, hold the shift key, and it will populate it automatically. and now I did it. So I'm gonna hide this axis and maybe just edit this sketch so it's a little bit, it's not, yeah, see what it's doing now. Since the axis has changed, it's creating a, yeah, it's creating the circular pattern in the whole with the reference of that axis. So I'm just gonna give it a real number. And yeah, just for finishing, maybe I'll just create another stuff here in the, okay, I'm gonna save it and create just a square here and select, right click on that line, select the midpoint, that line, and say coincident. Same on this side, select midpoint, line, say coincident, and just say these two are equal. And these two, oh wait, sorry, they are already equal because it's a rectangle. So point, point, line, coincident. And you could be able to select a midpoint if you were in sketch mode, but I find it easier to do that because basically it's faster. So I'm gonna make extrusion on the other side, and since this is there you go. Since this is a weird piano already, it's gonna make a draft and say something like that, no merge, and go that to the body, and that's, I would say that's it. Alright, so I hope you guys learned a little bit more about the patterns. Next time we're gonna go and do mirror, feature, and curve driven and sketch driven patterns, which are very helpful along the whenever you're designing. So once we are doing that, we also need to do some parts and some assemblies, which are also a fun part. And maybe after that I'll show you some things about sheet metal, weldments, and surfaces. Maybe later we're going to go and do rendering. And once we do that, we can go ahead and start doing some prototypes for ourselves. I have a couple of really good ideas to design, and I hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see something more advanced, or if you want to have any ideas that I could start designing, and yeah, do all the good stuff, like it, share it, comment it, and I hope to see you guys later next time. Goodbye.